NFL revenge moments. A wise man once said that payback's a bitch. It was probably Gandhi, but don't take my word for it. All I know is there's no better feeling than sticking it to someone who stuck it to you. Revenge is a common occurrence in sports, and it can often lead to some memorable rivalries, and in some instances, just memorable games, or a memorable punch. Today, we will highlight some of the most talked about NFL's revenge moments. Is it always sweet when served hot? Let's stick around to find out. Number 1. Joe Montana vs. 49ers. Even the greats get old. 36-year-old Joe Montana was reaching the end of his career. They traded him. Bulls might get you a little more respect. The problem was, he still had a little left in the tank. In their first meeting the following year, Montana threw for 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions on the way to a 24-17 victory. His replacement, Steve Young, threw for 288 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, making some in San Francisco, if even for a second, wonder if they had made a mistake. Number 2. Falcons vs. Eagles. In the 2004 NFC Championship game, the Eagles finally got over the hump, having failed in the 3 previous NFC Championships, and defeated the Falcons on the way to the Super Bowl. This would be the closest Michael Vick would ever come to a Super Bowl. In Week 1 of the following year, the Falcons and Eagles would meet again in a fiery matchup that saw a player from both sides get ejected for fighting before even a single whistle blew. The Falcons would go on to win 14-10, feeling like it should have been them in the Super Bowl. Too bad. Number 3. John Gruden. It's not every day that a head coach in any sports gets traded for draft picks, but former NFL head coach John Gruden was one of the few who it happened to. Going from the Oakland Raiders to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Gruden found himself against his former team in the Super Bowl in the very first season the two weren't together. After taking the Raiders to great success but never to the big game, Gruden copped revenge against the Silver and Black by absolutely burying them on Super Bowl Sunday. His Buccaneers team routed Oakland 48-21 to get his first Super Bowl win as a head coach, and sweet revenge against the team that traded him away. Number 4. Steve Smith vs. Deshaun Jackson. Two of the most recent examples of payback in sports, wide receivers Steve Smith and Deshaun Jackson, weren't shy in talking about their anticipation to play against their former teams in the 2014 season, the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles, respectively. And when they both got out in the field, they certainly didn't hold anything back. That's because Jackson, who played in Philadelphia in Week 3, caught 5 balls for 117 yards and a touchdown, which he celebrated by mocking the Eagles while in the end zone. Smith had an even bigger day against his former team though, as he went on to haul in 7 passes for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, while they both got revenge on their old mates, only Smith's Baltimore Ravens came out on top with the win. Number 5. Peyton Manning. Although they didn't end on bad terms, the competitor and quarterback Peyton Manning had to have a little extra motivation when going into the stadium that he helped build, squaring off against his old Indianapolis Colts team in 2013. While Manning did have a great game by passing for 386 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick, his Denver Broncos weren't able to overcome the Colts all night, with Manning falling to his old team 39-33, ending Denver's perfect season, with the fans acknowledging and applauding Peyton during the pre-game warm-ups. It showed how respected and loved he really was, but I'm sure the fans were excited to have sent him home with a loss. Number 6. Brett Favre. One can't think of Brett Favre without recalling all of the memorable moments that the gunslinger had while with the Green Bay Packers, playing for the storied franchise for 16 seasons. Favre led the team to 2 straight Super Bowl appearances, with 1 win, and collected 3 league MVPs. But the love affair got stale quickly once Favre wanted to play for the divisional rival Minnesota Vikings in 2009, leading an undefeated Vikings team into Lambeau Field. Favre threw for 271 yards with 3 touchdowns and no turnovers, leading Minnesota to a 30-23 win against his former mates, and at that point, kept them a perfect 4-0. Number 7. Joe Montana. Much like the aforementioned Brett Favre, few can think of the Steve Young, who had filled in more than adequately any time Montana was injured. eventually getting traded to 24-17 win over his former team. While Joe Cool got the best of the Niners in the regular season, San Fran got the last laugh as they went on to win the Super Bowl later that season with Young at the helm. Number 8, Giants vs. Patriots. Nobody wants to be the team that a record gets set on, but the Giants had to watch the Pats set 3-2 on one play. In Week 17 of the 2007 NFL season, the Patriots played the Giants on their quest to complete the perfect season. Both Tom Brady and Randy Moss were just shy of setting records. Brady's Patriots would go on to finish 16-0. Birds were chirping, and the world still made sense. Then comes the revenge. In Super Bowl 42, touchdown, thus proving once and for all that God is a Giants fan, just as I suspected. The Giants would go on to win 7, and we were all sucked into a black hole. Everything we called reality turned into a dream. Now, boys, during their dynasty run from 1992 to 1995. So the 49ers shouldn't feel too bad about it. The Cowboys would knock the 49ers out of the playoffs in the 1992 NFC Championship game and again in the 1993 NFC Champion game, both on their way to back-to-back Super Bowl victories. Then, in 1994, the 49ers would see them again, of course, in the conference championship. Finally, the revenge clock rang. This time, they would win it. Steve Young would go on to put an end to the "can't win the big one" tag, putting an exclamation mark on the season with a record-setting Super Bowl victory, throwing 6 touchdowns, the most in the big game. As for the Cowboys, they were never the same again. Just kidding. They won the Super Bowl the following year, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they were never the same. This time, for real. What is your best revenge moment on our video, and why would you say so? Let us know in the comment section below.